Good evening and a warm welcome to the invited guests, KMA leaders and members. We are indeed going through terrible times. I was saying the auto-suggestion diction on the keypad on my phone immediately prompts heartfelt condolences and prayers these days, the moment I open it. This just goes to explain the times that we are going through now. So many friends, mentors, connects just going away in a flash. I look up to the Lord and pray every day, please help those who have suffered and are still suffering. Please show some respite to our beautiful world and its people. Let us begin this session with a minute's silence to say a word of prayer for the souls of all those who have succumbed to their fate during these challenging times, and also invoke the blessings of Almighty for all of us to continue being safe and to overcome these traumatic times. Continue to be seated wherever you are and close your eyes for a minute. Thank you. And once again, good evening to our esteemed speakers, Women Managers Forum leader, our Managing Committee member and Executive Director of Federal Bank, Ms. Shalini Warrior, past Presidents, Mr. S.R. Nair, Mr. Rajmohan Nair, others whom I cannot see on screen, Senior Vice President Nirmala Lilly, Joint Secretary Algiers Khalid, other members of the Managing Committee, members of Women Managers Forum who are present here in large numbers, members of KMA and other LMAs, students and invited guests. Good to see that we have a good attendance already today. The response to the invitation itself was a clear indication that we had nailed the right topic at the right time with the right speakers to address us. Well, this is how KMA has been pulling on in these troubled times to keep our members engaged, remain positive, and provide with meaningful deliberations and events of utility. This is the 7th event of this KMA year being organized by the Women Managers Forum. As part of the annual theme of KMA this year, that is spearheading responsible management, we have treated diversity and inclusion as one of the main focus areas for this year. In this regard, Madam Shalini Warrior has been conceiving many programs under the aegis of the Women Managers Forum to help women in their businesses, professions, and personal lives to get on with the learning and innovation to remain updated and stay ahead in these changing times. But once we got going, we realized that all such topics are also quite inclusive, as there is no gender disparity when it comes to these topics, and it's important to all of us and not just the women folk. Second Thursday of every month has been earmarked for the Women Managers Forum event. And here we are on the 10th of the month, or the second Thursday of June, and having this session. The KMA Women Managers Forum started off the year with a panel discussion in December with a very decorated panel of speakers, leading a discussion on the topic glass ceilings for women leaders, a myth or a reality. And thereafter, we had a masterclass on digital marketing led by a domain expert from Chennai, Ms. Aarti Srinath, in January. The third program of the forum was a chat session dwelling on a very useful and interesting topic, make your money work for you, financial planning made easy. The fourth event was a session with Professor Vasanthi Srinivasan of IIM Bangalore, addressing us on the importance of continuous learning and staying agile. And in April, we had Professor Niharika Vora, Vice Chancellor of Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, talking about women directors in the corporate world and the need for more of them. In the 6th event held last month, we had a very profound topic for discussion. Women leaders, assertiveness is not aggressiveness. And we had Ms. Shivapriya Balagopal of Eastern Continents, Ms. Sreyashi Sen of Darpan Global, Ms. Hema Mani of Lennox International, and Mr. R. Krishna Kumar of Siemens, sharing their thoughts on this very relevant topic. Today, we have yet another session being taken up by the forum, and something that all of us are looking for: emotional balance, or the need to stay calm and peaceful in these challenging and traumatic times. The topic is coined as boosting emotional immunity. Well, gaining emotional immunity or the ways to protect ourselves from external factors affecting our mental equilibrium has been part of an unending quest for all of us, even from a very tender age. Some succeed on their own to a great extent, and others try many resources starting from yoga, meditation, mentors, gurus, etc., etc. In these times of traumatic and scary news and developments all around related to pandemic and its related repercussions, the problem of reduced emotional immunity has become almost all prevalent. Studies have revealed that brain activity with negative emotions lead to a lower physical immune response against the current virus too. Many previous studies have always shown that emotions and stress can adversely affect the immune system. Even if you are not experiencing severe stress signals, COVID-19 is still affecting people in some way, like one may feel more tired than usual, or more stressed about things, or getting irritated at the slightest instance. This hour of crisis has affected our happiness, along with mental and physical peace, due to various reasons, like a financial setback, job losses, health worries, and many other concerns. The current lockdowns and the physical aloofness also may increase the problem of loneliness in some people that in turn can affect physical and mental wellness. Emotional health, as I understand, is an individual's capacity to acknowledge and oversee feelings through challenges and transformation. A person can assess their sentiments rationally if they are emotionally healthy, which is why emotional well-being is so significant. And that is where we need to focus on emotional immunity. And hence we have an accomplished speaker and expert in dealing with happiness quotient, Ms. Amritaa Gupta Nair, founder of the Happiness HQ, with us today. And we have Ms. Sujata Kshirsagar, Chief Sales Officer of Career Launcher, here to engage Amritaa in a conversation to make her share her pearls of knowledge and solutions with us. On behalf of all the members of the Managing Committee at KMA and the Women Managers Forum and all present here, I formally welcome you, Amritaa and Sujata, to this session. I also extend my hearty welcome to all the past presidents of KMA present here, members of the Managing Committee and the Executive Committee, Senior Vice President, Secretary, members of KMA and other LMAs, members of the Women Managers Forum, student members and members of the media, and all invited guests to this session, which is about to begin. So without further ado, let me invite Ms. Shalini Warrior, who is in charge of our Women Managers Forum, to formally introduce the speakers and also take us through the session. For those of you, in case who do not know her by any chance, Ms. Shalini Warrior is one of the top-notch corporate leaders of our times, and with a brilliant academic record and distinguished career in banking and finance, and is currently the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer at Federal Bank. Over to you, Madam Shalini, for introducing the speakers before they take over the main screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madhav, for those kind words and for setting the context so beautifully about today's session. Let me just, introduce actually Sujata as the moderator, and then she will do the needful to introduce Amritaa thereafter and take the conversation forward. Sujata and I have known each other for a very long time, and I would owe today's session actually to something that she's been working on for some time now. Sujata is currently the Chief Sales Officer at Career Launcher, which is a leading edtech company. She provides leadership and strategic direction to the business's sales, inclusive of sourcing new customers and ensuring the success of customers. She's responsible for growing the revenue of the business. Prior to that, Sujata has actually got 18 years of experience across the banking sector. She was with ANZ and with Standard Chartered Bank, and that's where we worked together for some time. So I've known her for a very, very long time. She's always displayed a brilliant track record of delivering business performance in what can be rapidly changing environment. She actually took a break at that point in time from Standard Chartered and started doing something on her own. She nurtured a startup in the CSR tech area, so in the whole social responsibility area, marrying technology and a social purpose together for corporates so that you could maximize the impact of what we all spend on education, innovation, and research. Along with that, she did something which was, I thought, remarkable. She launched My Learning Ladder, which was literally continuous learning for a diverse set of people. Through the series that she ran, she touched the lives of about 3,000 individuals. As a member of the Delhi Dialogue Commission, she's contributed to the transformational education policy of the NCT of Delhi, which we're all familiar with. She holds a master's degree in business administration from IIM Bangalore and a bachelor degree in commerce from Podar College, Mumbai. What is also more interesting is Sujata is a potter. She does pottery. She's an artist. If you go onto YouTube, you'll hear her singles out there. She does, she renders ghazals very well and shairi very well. She's an avid mountaineer. She has scaled Kilimanjaro and Everest Base Camp. So here is Sujata for you, a package of everything that you think needs to be rounded off. Sujata will do the needful of introducing Amritaa and kind of facilitating the session through the rest of the next 45 to 50 minutes. So over to you, Sujata. Thank you very much to both you and Amritaa for being here. Over to you to take the session forward.
Thank you, Shalini. I think that was a long introduction. I'm overwhelmed. And thanks once again to Kerala Management Association for bringing Amritaa and me over for this session. This is the second time I'm sharing a forum with Amritaa. And like Shalini mentioned, I have been hosting some sessions in my earlier, role as the founder of My Learning Ladder. Amritaa is a delightful speaker, needs no moderation, I will admit. So at times, maybe I'll end up being overbearing, but I'll try and do this role as well as I can. So as I start, I do hope all is well with you and yours. And as the President Madhav Chandran just mentioned, the past 14 months plus have been different and more apt to say very difficult for all of us. So COVID has presented new challenges for us. The impact is not only widespread, it is deep. So working from home is new to many of us. What does it mean? Many of us are teleporting for the first time, isolated from people, be it family, friends, or co-workers. Daily routine is totally disrupted. So we all are strained. And as Madhav Chandran very rightfully said, even if we believe we are not experiencing stress, we are. We feel more tired for sure and more stressed than earlier. So every one of us is adjusting to better approaches of living and working. One thing that has clearly emerged in all this is, along with physical fitness, and all of us do, when you're plus 40, you do your pre-meds or checkups. We are always worried about our HDL, LDL, and all that. But this importance of emotional and mental fitness, has never taken a front seat as it is today. So emotional immunity is suddenly assuming a lot of importance. Otherwise, it used to be mental illness. So it's got to do with illness. It is never to do with something positive and I must be emotionally fit. One more thing I think along with COVID virus. So COVID virus is contagious. We all know you expose yourself for 2 hours and the new variant of the virus, you expose yourself for 15 minutes and you fall in, you get COVID. But emotions are also contagious. So you see, emotions are socially networked. We go on Facebook to get our emotional high. So I always believe if you want to feel nice after a long tired day, go and update things on Facebook. You will have 30 friends who will like it. Oh, a great emotional high. So that's my way. Amritaa will, of course, when she talks, tell you reasons why not to do this very often, and very aptly so. I won't steal that thunder. But emotions are what keeps us gathered as an individual, whether Sujata as herself, Shalini as herself, Amritaa as herself, or Sujata and her family, Sujata and her working community. So emotions, in short, very critical. And in a way, people thrive when these very emotions are balanced and aligned along with your physical health. So they are very interactive, very interdependent. Boosting emotional immunity is the topic for our day. And I would like to start this topic by reciting one shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. This very aptly holds up the entire idea of emotional intelligence. Whilst we are talking about building emotional immunity, it stems from EI. So, this shloka goes on to say a human who's quiet and stays unperturbed by either torment or joy is the one who will achieve everlasting joy. And don't mistake me, I'm not telling you things for becoming that sadhu or a yogi, But this is a very practical thing to do in life. And the shloka goes as follows. Yam hena vyathayantyete purusham purusharshaba samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. So EI, or emotional intelligence, is the ability to understand, use, manage your own emotions in a positive way. It is not to keep away from ill feelings or the bad things that are happening to you, but instead to overcome these. And good emotional intelligence helps you actually build very strong relationships, succeed at work or school, and achieve your career and goals. And today, Amritaa is going to tell us exactly how do we go about building this emotional immunity, the nuts and bolts of it. So she will not only talk to us the way I have so far, is typically giving gyan, but she's going to tell us what is it that we can do, some quick tips where we can actually progress in our life of gaining this emotional immunity. So let me introduce Amritaa to you without any further ado. And I promise you after this introduction, there are no more introductions. Amritaa is the one who's going to speak and y'all are going to listen. So Amritaa, there she is smiling, all smiles as always, is a certified life coach and the founder of The Happiness HQ. She works with a diverse group of people and individuals across the world and helps them, please mark my words, she helps them explore greater meaning to actual happiness. So not ki has diye, we are happy. She actually takes them to the depths of it. A term she believes is simple yet far more diverse, and often it is misinterpreted. Now she has developed various models, so I can call her the author of many models to how to lead a better life and how to stay happy. She offers a variety of workshops, of course, and bespoke sessions for executives and individuals. In her prior life, and for us now, every 10 years is a prior life, she's had rich experience with the corporate world as well. So, over 25 years spanning across hospitality, corporate affairs, relocation services, digital marketing, yes, digital marketing, voluntary and relief work, special education as well. And she's traveled across the world. So all this that she's done is across India, Oman, UAE, and the United States. Amritaa is also a dancer, a Kathak Visharad, and has many performances to her credit. So today is our opportunity now on to listen to Amritaa as she speaks. And I would like to keep this interactive. I know all of you are muted, but please do put in as many comments or questions, even while this is on, while I would request you to leave your questions for the end, because many of them will get answered as Amritaa speaks. So feel free to put your comments or those tiny clarifications if something is not clear. I will pick it up. I won't intervene, Amritaa, but at the right time, I will feed it in for her to give us the right answer. But she's going to speak to us about the nuts and bolts of boosting the state of our emotional being, about resilience, happiness, mindsets, mindfulness, and more. So, Amritaa, welcome to you to tell us the WWH, not WWF, of boosting our emotional immunity. Why must we do it? What must we practice? And how do we boost our emotional immunity? So here's over to you with that, Amritaa. And please keep your comments on the chat. Hi and welcome, Amritaa. Over to you.
Hi, Sujata, and thank you so much. And I feel that between Mr. Madhav Chandran and Sujata, they have kind of summed up today's topic already so beautifully. So I will still try to do my level best to bring in something more, and with the intention and hope that majority of you could gain something out of it. As rightly, it's already been mentioned, emotional immunity is something that has always been important in our lives, but I think now it's come to become a few notches higher. It's critical, it's essential, because way too much adversity is what we are needing to face right now. So, Sujata, before I dive into even sharing the hows and the whys and everything, I thought I would just quickly take everybody through some very fundamental basic information by just sharing my screen, because here is what I've understood through our school days and college days. Whatever subject we got a better hang of and we got a little deeper into it, understood it better, no matter what, we gained better grades in those topics, right? So we will just look at few very fundamental things before we even progress with, how do we even boost our emotional intelligence. So yes, let's start with, like Sujata already told you, we are going to attend to the WWH, the why boost emotional immunity, what are emotions and how do they even impact us, and how to boost emotional immunity, the most important part of it, right? So let's look at the why. Why boost emotional immunity? So when we keep talking about emotional intelligence, emotional immunity, somebody who has good emotional immunity, what do they even look like? It looks like these people are the ones who face adversity and a lot of challenges and difficulties much better than most other people. And by better, I mean they kind of, even if they get disturbed, they recover very well from it. They bounce back, so to speak. They're more resilient. These are the people who come across as happy people. They are enthusiastic, they're joyful, they're inspired, they're motivated, they're caring, they have beautiful relationships, they maintain good health. So all these things are kind of like the merits or the advantages of having good emotional immunity. But of course, it's all about maintaining a better mental well-being. It's about better relationships, all kinds of, whether it's personal or professional, better resilience in the face of adversity. And we all understand this so much better than ever before, the need for this, the word resilience. Of course, the physical well-being, because like Mr. Madhav Chandran already pointed out, that our mind and body are connected, and very important for effective leadership as well. Now, let's look at it from a scientific perspective. What are the researchers talking about? They found out that emotional intelligence or awareness and the ability to handle, the feelings, our internal feelings, it will determine your success and happiness in all walks of life. And even if you look at the research reports from IQ versus EQ, for even professionals from a business perspective, IQ determines 20 to 25% of business success, no doubt, but it's EQ, or the emotional intelligence, which is responsible for 75 to 80% of business success. So needless to say, I think we have made this point extremely clear, how important and essential emotional well-being and emotional intelligence is. But let's quickly understand, what are emotions? We have been constantly using this word emotion, emotion. Now, emotions are nothing, just energy in motion. It has to move. There has to be movement. And that's the reason it's not always a good idea to suppress it. And they move up and down. We'll look at the up and down part of it a little later. But let's understand, why do we say that emotions are energy in motion? We know that everything in this creation is made up of energy. Everything has energy, whether it's our thoughts, our feelings, our words. And wherever there is energy, there is vibration. And wherever there is vibration, there is a frequency. And where does frequency move? Frequency moves high and low. And that's how emotions keep moving up and down. So let me share another slide to explain this a little better. This is the vibrational scale of our emotions by the famous psychologist, Dr. Hawkins. So the frequency that I'm talking about, the vibration I'm talking about, of course, it's going up and down depending on our state of mind. So certain emotions like a guilt, shame, fear, grief, all these, as you can see, they are a lot lower emotions. And look at their vibrational numbers. They're very low. They're sort of in an area of suffering and kind of just getting by, not so pleasant. And you feel very contracted within when you're going through these kinds of emotions. However, if you look at certain other emotions like acceptance and reason and love, peace, joy, these are all higher emotions, and you are vibrating at a higher frequency and you feel a lot more expanded. But the most important takeaway from this particular slide, I would say, is the fact that each and every one of us are made up of all these emotions. There is presence of all these emotions, good, bad, nice, whatever, in all of us. However, at certain times, certain emotions get more activated as a result of whatever it may be. And those are the emotions we experience. Not only do we experience it, when we are experiencing it, as Sujata said, it's contagious. The others also start to experience the same. So I have to make this very clear that we must never run ourselves down if we are experiencing shame or guilt or fear or anger from time to time. It is okay, because all these emotions are part of us. But yes, when these become overactive and they start to disturb us, that's the time, yes, we have to start taking our attention to these and see how we can manage them. Now, to give you a simple example, fear. It is essential for us to have some bit of fear. Today, as a human race, if we have survived and we are still around, we are not eaten up by the wild animals or taken up by the wrath of nature, is because of the presence of fear. Fear kept us alive. Fear has brought us where we are. We have protected ourselves. But yes, excessive fear can be very disturbing. The same with, say, for example, anger or even anxiety. A little bit of anxiety before exams is helpful for students to push themselves, or before an interview, before an important meeting, before launching an important product. A little bit of anxiety will keep you going and will keep you pushing towards what you need to achieve. So all these emotions, nothing wrong with them. But yes, when they become overactive and start to disturb our minds, our lives, our relationships, that's when we know that, hey, we need to do something about it. So let's just strengthen this point a little further. Here is how you are supposed to maintain, regulate, manage, or balance your emotions. Let me tell you one thing, dear friends. There is one and only one way to do this. There are no two ways, there's just one way. And that one way is self-care. There is no other way. Let's look a little deeper into why self-care. It's because research has shown through positive psychology researches what determines happiness. We all know happiness is the end game for all of us. No matter what we are doing, we're looking for happiness. Here is the breakdown. 50% of that is determined by our genes. That's a starting point. 40% through our intentional activities that we choose to do on a day-to-day basis to keep ourselves happy. Only 10% is dependent on circumstances. Now, let's be honest. Majority of us very often tend to live our lives as if 80 to 90% the external circumstances are responsible for that. But here is a fact staring at us. And this kind of strengthens the fact that we do have our personal power to the extent of 40%. And when we say self-care, where does that feature in this pie chart? In that 40%. That 40% is all about intentional activities towards self-care. So let's just go a little more deeper into this. Now, I love this statement that we are constantly experiencing everything, good, bad, or ugly, going on in the outer world with our emotions that reside in our inner world. Inner world is the key word. So self-care has to be done in the inner world. And very, very clearly, our life is all about how our emotions are dictating it. It's not so much to do with the external factors, and one may debate that, but we will go a little deeper into understanding that as well. So while we are on the topic of experiencing, let's understand very quickly before I start sharing the tools with all of you, how do we even experience everything that's going on in the outer world using our emotions that are in our inner world. So say there is a situation, there's a stimulus. Usually whenever a situation comes up or there is a sort of a behavior that's happening outside of us, we have a response to it. Straightforward. However, let's note that there is a big gap in between. Whenever a situation comes up, before we get to the response, there's something else that happens. The moment we see the situation or the behavior, the first thing we do is we create a thought in our mind. And this thought is entirely our own vocabulary. Independently, we create a thought. I create my thoughts, you create your thoughts. Now, whichever way I thought about that particular situation or that particular person's behavior, that is going to generate certain feelings and emotions in me according to that. And the way I'm feeling at that point is going to then take me to the response in terms of my word or behavior or my actions, whatever I do. So while the situations, more often than not, and we can see that, are not necessarily always according to how we want it to be, not necessarily always totally under our control. So where is the turning point? Clearly, it is the thought. Every single vocabulary is our own. And this is why I always say that it's so important that we train our minds and teach our mind, just like we train our children to walk and talk and speak. If we could just train our mind to think right, to choose the correct vocabulary, to create a mindset that would lead me to better emotions and better feelings, and therefore better decisions, better experience, better behavior. And that in turn is again going to bring about the next situation in front of my life. So it's like a cycle. So I say that, especially to the English language teachers in schools, yes, they are teaching our children amazing vocabulary, how to read and how to write, but it's so important to even teach how to think, because that's where everything is starting from. And that's what is taking us to the ultimate experience of everything that's going on in our lives. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and having set this baseline of a little understanding, we're going to talk further, Sujata, on the tools the personal care, the self-care that I am going to discuss today. But, it's important to note that whatever is precious in this world, whatever is very important to us, for example, water, we have to dig. You have to really dig deep to get water. If you want rubber from the tree, you got to tap into the bark and you need to take the rubber out. Or even if it is oil, you got to dig deeper. And so when we are doing all this tapping and digging and everything, what is it that we need? We need tools. We need some equipment. That's how we can tap and get deeper into all of this, isn't it?
Yes. And also, Amrita, I think in today's world, I think all of us to a large extent are also that impatient, right? TK, all this. If I have to change or if I have to benefit starting now, what is it that I can do? So I'm sure the tools that you're going to, put out before us will be very valuable.
Absolutely. Let me give a disclaimer right here, Sujata. The tools that I'm going to share today, am I going to pull out some new tricks from my bag? No. Is this something going to be brand new and revolutionary? No. Some things that we are all already aware of, we have experienced them. The whole idea today is to discuss about them and talk about them and bring them to the forefront as a reminder that, yes, this is how I can reprogram my mind to feel better, to think better, and therefore experience whatever is going on around me better. But it's important that we understand the importance of the tools. I could listen to it, know about it, and increase my intellectual data. Or I could follow them on a regular basis and make them part of my life so that I'm ready with the tools to keep digging and finding the precious stuff that I need to go through all the adversities that are going on right now. So before I share the first tool, Sujata, here's an analogy I like to use. All of us live in a house, right? We have our homes, and thank God for that. And what do we do at night before we go to bed? We all make sure that we secure the house, like lock the doors and windows so that nobody can break in, thieves or robbers or anybody. We make sure we do that before we sleep. But come morning, the same doors and windows, we throw them open because we want sunlight to come in, we want fresh air to come in. This is the formula, the simple formula we need to just copy and paste to our emotional system, to our mind. Be vigilant and mindful and clever and intelligent about what are you exposing your mind to and what you need to protect your mind from. Today, there is so much of distraction, news, views, opinion, all kinds of things just strewn out there. How much are we exposing ourselves to all of that, and how much are we protecting? So my first tool that I want to share with everybody It's the digital detox. We definitely need digital detox. Just like we watch our diet for food, we need to watch our emotional diet as well. What am I exposing my mind to? And how much of that is coming in and disturbing me? How much am I protecting myself? I'm not saying that switch yourself off from all the information and the news and everything that's going on the outside. We do need to be abreast with what's going on. But allow yourself just little portions of the day, instead of constantly checking your phones or constantly switching through the zillions of channels on television. Because let's face it, right now, there aren't too many good news to report. So you are going to come face to face with a whole bunch of news that is going to bring, if you remember the vibrational scale, your emotions are going to start vibrating at lower frequency when you hear those news, when you watch those visuals. So protect yourself. Have a portion time. It's the same as food. Food is so necessary for us because it's a source of energy. But if you overeat, there is going to be disturbance in the body. You're not going to enjoy it. So it's really, really important that we practice digital detox, and especially first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Because we saw that we are going to experience everything in the outer world using what, Sujata? Our inner world, right? The emotions that are in our inner world. So first we need to charge the inner world, get it ready, and then present ourselves to the outer world. Otherwise, if I'm already getting up in the morning, first thing I'm going to check the news or the phone or social media or something, and I, God forbid, come across something which is a disturbing news, brought down my charge, my vibration has come down. And with that low charge vibration, I have gone and presented myself into that very difficult day of working from home with zillions of responsibilities, so many challenges. Clearly, I'm going to take a beating. So it's very important that we follow digital detox first thing in the morning and before going to sleep. Too many people are suffering from insomnia. And even if you're not suffering from insomnia, even if you feel that I'm getting a good 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep, how good is your sleep? How deep did you sleep? How good was your rest? So it's important even switch off from everything digital, switch off from the outer world, start slowly coming back into your inner world before you can put yourself to sleep at night. When you get better sleep, you're a lot more sharper and fresh in the morning. So digital detox for sure is a very, very, very important tool according to me. Make sure that you sift and sort through what you want to expose yourself to. Now, before I go to the next tool, Sujata, I'm going to request all of you out there, like Sujata said, use the chat box. What I want to hear from all of you very quickly, some of the top things that are bothering you right now, maybe globally, maybe generally, maybe personally, maybe professionally, whatever it may be, just very quickly for the next 15, 20 seconds, just do a quick share and let's see what comes up. Go ahead. We are just waiting to see what you have to share, things that are bothering you right now. Yes, when will COVID end? The lockdown, health of staff, spreading hatred, right enough. Yes, I agree with you. So yes, there are quite a few, and I'm sure availability of vaccines. Yes, absolutely. Overusage of social media. Absolutely. Cognitive dissonance within people now. Yes. Oh my God, that's really terrible. Work stress, relationships, staying at home, limited movement. Fear is a major emotion. Totally agree with you. Complexity of the banking scenario, frustrations, social dexterity. Yes, frustrations. Absolutely spot on, spot on. All of you have just nailed it. Work overload. So now what I want you to do is we are going to just switch for the next 30 seconds. We made a note of the whole collection of things that are bothering us right now. But for the next 30 seconds, here is what I want you guys to do. I'm going to put a timer. You may just close your eyes and I want you to count on your fingers. Think of the things in your life. And we know life is not a 4-letter word. Life consists of your, maybe your personal life, your professional life, money, your health, your children, and social life, and all kinds of things, right? Think about your life in general. And how many things can you think of that you currently feel grateful for? You're thankful for? So your time starts now. Count on your finger and see how many things you can find in the next 30 seconds. Your time starts now. Five, four, three, two, one, and stop. So now what I want you all to do is quickly just type out the number of things you counted. How many things? 10, 15, 20, whatever number. 21. Awesome. Wow. 50, about 15. 5. Keep sharing, guys. Tell me, how many could you count on your fingers? 8, 15. Very good. Very good. 9, 6, 12, 8. Awesome. 20. Beautiful. Lost track of the I love that. Lost track of the count. 6. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Now, let me tell you, while yes, the number is amazing, that there were so many in just 30 seconds, the most important question I'm going to ask you, how did you feel? How were you emoting? Sujata, you had 21 things you were grateful for. What was your emotion like? What were you feeling when you were going through all those things you're grateful for?
So for me, I felt very blessed. And there was this gratefulness or gratitude. So eat, love, pray, I think is a beautiful feeling to be in a state of when everything else around you is in a tizzy.
Yes. Somebody said feeling lucky. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Very good. Yes. So feeling, what I want to draw your attention to is we just went over all the concerns and we typed out so many things. And then we took just 30 seconds to line up in our minds all the things that we are grateful for. Now, did you see a shift in your mood? Did you see a shift in your emotion? Maybe if when you were talking about all the things that you're bothering you, you were at a lower vibrational point. But as you started thinking of, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful, I'm so blessed, your vibrational scale, your score started to go up. How simple is that? How simple is that? Just to shift your attention, just to shift your mind from feeling troubled to feeling grateful, 30 seconds is all it took. It doesn't take so much time. So yes, as you can rightly guess, the second tool that I want to share with everybody is gratitude. Everybody has experienced gratitude. Everybody is familiar with gratitude. But today we are talking about it as a tool that needs to be used intentionally, deliberately, regularly, consistently to practice gratitude. How do we do that? First thing in the morning, I said, no digital interference at that time. First thing in the morning, maybe in your mind, maybe journaling, maybe using a gratitude app, whichever way you want to, just list out 5, 10, 15, whatever things that today I'm so grateful for all of that. What have you done? You've charged your emotions. You brought it to a slightly higher point. Do you have to do it only in the morning? No, you can do it from time to time. Take a pause. The moment you feel that I'm beginning to feel a little troubled, a little stressed, a little worked out, take a pause. 30 seconds, I'm sure everybody can afford, right? Just take 30 seconds by the clock. Just start doing what you just did. Start counting. What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Home, children, this, that. And immediately what you do is you bring about a shift and you have risen your emotion to a slightly higher place instead of allowing it to keep going lower and lower and lower with everything that's happening in the outer world. So here is my suggestion to you. If you're journaling gratitude or even thinking in your mind, try that every single day when you wake up in the morning, try to look for new things to be grateful for, not the same things, not the same things. Of course, be grateful for whatever you have already that comes to your mind, but keep looking for more things because then you will find how many things we have taken for granted that we don't say a thank you to on a regular basis? How many of you may have thanked your body for being able to do whatever you're doing, and you're active and everything, but different organs of the body, different parts of the body, so many organs inside are working well. What about the body organs of your children? Like, if you really start looking for it, the car, the hot water, my slippers, my clothes, there's so many things to be grateful for. And why am I doing it? Because I'm practicing keeping my mind in a state of gratitude, which is a higher vibration emotion. And over a period of time, whatever we do regularly, repeatedly, it slowly somewhere becomes a habit, and then old habits die hard. So we are trying to make the mind habituated to feeling grateful at the drop of the hat. There'll be prompting from the brain after you've rewired your brain and your mind for gratitude by practicing it regularly. Research shows this. Your brain will be rewired to a point where every situation you will be looking for something to be grateful for. It's just a prompting. It's just like even for smokers. If you have smoked for many days and regularly all the time, after a point, the brain will tell you, go pick up another cigarette. So gratitude is something that we need to practice on a regular basis. Research, and you will see how powerful it is and how many people are practicing gratitude today. Now, the third tool that I want to... Sorry,
before we move on to the third point, there is also one comment there. I'll come to that in a bit. But what you actually told us so far is, Ekto, you need to charge your battery. Even in a Formula One race, however good the make of the car is, you have to first have it all set, which is, and the pit stop. So which is what you're saying is the gratitude practice. However good the car and the driver is, you have to stop there. You have to take that thing, set yourself, repair. And this is not, repair is a wrong word, but I guess this gratitude practice will actually go and rewire our mind.
And renew.
And renew. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a lovely way of explaining it, Sujata. Yes, absolutely. No matter how. And you know what, when you're practicing gratitude, even the short-term happiness, like, okay, I got a new phone and I'm so excited. How long are you going to be excited with that new toy in your hand?
Right.
But if you're somebody who's practicing gratitude on a regular basis, and I thank all the devices that I have, I have all the gadgets and devices, then the lifespan of the joy and happiness from getting a new phone or a new dress or a new car or whatever, you're just extending that and making it into a long-term happiness. So there are tons of advantages of practicing gratitude, and it should be ongoing, deliberate, consistent, regular, just like brushing your teeth, right?
Sure.
So there was a question, you said, a comment.
Yeah, there's a question. I don't know if you have the answer, but I'll still pop it off. Do you suggest any retreat for digital detox? Because there are many health detox retreats. So is there any retreat for digital detox that you're aware of, or any online program?
Soon there will be a digital detox retreat, and I'll tell you why. Because the part of the brain, again, research shows that the part of the brain that is responsible for cocaine addiction is the same part of the brain that makes you addicted to your phones. Right. So something has to be done sooner than later to specifically attend to digital detox, and come up with retreats just for that. However, the retreats that attend to your mind and to your body, by default, they will make you put the digital equipment aside, because that's very much part of detox.
Sure. And one quick solution in God's own country is to just take a walk half an hour every day.
Beautiful. Yes.
Or the paddy fields. And if you feel like, take 3 days off and do just that, leave all your equipment behind. So that is one solution. Trek once a year, do some of these things. It'll automate some of the things in life. Sorry, I'm answering.
Totally agree with you. But yeah, Sujata, but it's a good thing you mentioned that. I tell people, even if you're not living in God's own country, even if you don't have the luxury of so much beauty, resplendent beauty all around you, even if you're living in a high-rise building in a big city, come out, there is the sky. Look up at the sky. Nature is so vast and so expanded that if you connect yourself with nature, you're sure to, get something that will raise your mood and that would lift you and it would expand you, like you saw in the scale. The expansion will happen. Beautiful. Yes, nature is certainly should be your best friend.
Sure.
So that brings me to the next one, which Mr. Madhav Chandran beautifully already talked about, understanding the relationship between your body and your mind. Because the virus, as we know, is attacking the body. and the body is so closely connected to the mind. So it is of utmost importance that through the mind, we provide our body with higher immunity. Now, let's just quickly understand how the emotions are connected to our body. Do you see, Sujata, when you get angry for some reason, if you're really angry, you start to feel hot. There's heat coming out of your body. And likewise, when you are worried or scared or sad, you tend to feel cold. So this just is an evidence of the fact that every emotion has a corresponding chemical reaction in our body. And that's how we know that how getting stressed is leading people to diabetes and heart issues and such. So the connection, this, I don't think I have to talk too much about the relationship between the body and the mind, but it must come to the forefront. There should be a little bell that should ring the moment my mind is deviating towards certain difficult thoughts or negative thoughts. I got to remember, I'm attacking my own body, because I saw that when I create a thought, an emotion is coming up inside of me. And as soon as the emotion is coming, I may be expressing my viewpoint of frustration about maybe the government or about the hospital or about the neighbor, about the spouse or whoever it may be. And maybe rightfully so. Maybe there is a reason to do so. However, when I am creating those thoughts, when I'm talking about it, when I'm expressing it, I'm generating emotions that are first impacting my body through the chemical reactions. And when that is happening, that is also impacting my energy field. We already talked about it. And when my energy field is impacted, anybody who's coming in my energy field, people who are influenced by me, people who I take care of, they are also getting impacted by it. So this is how we create group consciousness as well. That's the concept of group consciousness, where you are working with the vibrations and the frequencies in your energy field. So it's important to keep that in mind, that we not only need to, Sujata rightly said that, yes, the body consciousness has come about, and rightly so, but we need to also constantly keep in mind the conscious coupling between the body and the mind. And it's very, very important that we pay attention to that. So moving on to the next very simple tool, Sujata, again, something definitely not new to anybody. I'm talking about service. Yes. Seva, an act of kindness, however little it may be, maybe just giving a compliment to somebody and making them feel good. Maybe reaching out to somebody and just asking, hey, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. Or it could be something big, that the people are doing amazing stuff right now, right? They have not indulged in sitting and just looking at the news and then commenting on it and then getting angry about the situation. Instead, they've diverted their energy into jumping into service, making free food and reaching it to people and a whole bunch of stuff. With gratitude, we talk about what we have received in life and we are feeling blessed. Over here, we are going to talk about giving. So life is all about receiving and giving. And through the process of giving, through the process of kindness, again, let's remember Hawkins' scale. Compassion, love, where are all these emotions? Right at the top. So you're again ensuring by practicing, again, I'm talking about practicing, serving and being there for others. We are always doing it. Yes, everybody has experienced that, but we are talking about practicing it on a regular basis, consciously, deliberately, intentionally, using it as a tool for self-care. Looking at it from that perspective. So yes, random act of kindness, anytime, anywhere, should always be part of your toolkit. Very, very important. So
on this particular aspect, someone said humility, service and servant leadership. If you actually look at the Indian culture, culturally, we are into service very heavily, right? True. And without any drawing any parallel to the religion, if you look at the Sikhs, the Sardars, that community, they do seva all the time. So if you go to a Gurudwara, there are people picking up your shoes and they may be CEOs of corporates. But when they go to the Gurudwara for seva, everyone is the same. Or you do Byas. People who go to Byas and do this seva. You have doctors, you have engineers, you have people from various professions. Even in our own temples, like you look for temples down south of India, And there is something specific called Seva Kalam, which means every day they run this Seva hour.
Yes.
So they do that. So, it's intrinsic to us. That is one. If you actually now step back and see how giving, or this culture of charity, which we call the corporate CSR, now it's gone to corporates as mandatory.
Yes.
But even before that, many companies used to do it. Many individuals used to do it. But the good part now is, if you see, the individual giving is fast surpassing the corporate giving. And there are individuals who are putting up. So somewhere, what you're saying is happening at a mega or pronounced external level. But if we are able to imbibe it at our daily, you just do seva at home, doesn't matter. You clean a room, you do seva to your mother, father, and don't celebrate Mother's or Father's Day. You celebrate it every day. I think that itself is an act you can do for yourself. Start with your family, do it for a colleague. I think it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a very, very powerful tool. It's a cheap tool. You don't have to spend any money on it. Yeah, it's always there with you. Kindness is, we are humans. We are born with kindness. Use it, keep it active, and therefore you keep your higher emotion also active. And you're saving your emotions, you're saving your mind.
Yeah, but somewhere maybe it could be pressure on people, because when you have to give money, people say, I don't have. This you have to give yourself. So it's a good thing though.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And from giving, you're also earning. You're earning sometimes blessings of other people. Or somebody says, it's so sweet of her. She gave me a call. I just loved it. That they sent out a good vibration towards you. So you're always earning from giving. Right. It's always a win-win situation. So that now, Sujata, brings me to the last tool, which is perhaps one of the most important and again, very talked about. It's about practicing mindfulness. We know this. It's ancient knowledge, is nothing new. But practicing, the key word is practicing mindfulness on a regular basis. Why has it become so talked about? Why is everybody seeking it so much? Because look around at the design of the world. It's making us practice distraction. That has come to the forefront. So if we don't, do something deliberately and consciously and intentionally to practice focus, it is going to rattle up our emotions. It is going to rattle up our inner world. It's but natural. It is definitely going to happen. So mindfulness is something that has to start from a very early age. I would say start getting your children, your students, if you're teachers out there, get them into the practice of mindfulness. Now, is mindfulness only about sitting down with your eyes closed for 20 to 30 minutes and doing meditation? Not just that. Yes, that's an important aspect. Yes, it's very powerful. Mindfulness is something which we can practice, and we must consciously practice all through the day. It is a simple thing I do every day, and it's very useful, especially now. I set an alarm on my phone for every 2 hours. The alarm goes off every 2 hours, no matter what I'm doing. I may be driving, I may be in the middle of making a presentation, I could be whatever I'm doing. It's just a reminder, just a self-check. Where is my mind? Where's my emotion? What am I thinking? What's happening? Where's the vibration? Just a self-check. You could do whatever you want to in that time when you have set the alarm for the next 30 seconds. Like we saw in that 30 seconds, you could count up all the things that you're grateful for. In those 30 seconds, maybe you could take some deep breaths. Bring your attention to the room that you're sitting in, the temperature of the room, and whatever. Just become mindful of everything that's going on. So you've switched yourself from wherever you were, whatever you were attending to, but you are now with yourself just taking deep breaths. So what I want to take everybody through, Sujata, I would like to give a very short experience of a little mindfulness meditation. Sure. Very simple. Just want to demonstrate how simple it can be. So wherever everybody is, just make sure that your phones are switched off. There is no disturbance from your phone ringing. Sit easily, sit comfortably. Keep your eyes closed. Make sure that your spine is completely stretched. Your shoulders are relaxed. And you are feeling comfortable. Let's take a long, deep breath in and And slowly breathe out. And as you breathe out, relax your shoulders. Once again, long, deep breath in. And once again, with the breath out, relax your shoulders more and more. Your entire attention on your breath. One more breath in. And as you breathe out, relax your whole body. Just become aware of your entire body. The seat it is sitting on, how your spine is stretched, your shoulders are relaxed, your face, if there are any muscles that are strained, relax them completely. Just be aware of your body with gratitude for the beautiful gift of your body. Once again, take a long, deep breath in. And slowly breathe out. Just become aware of your thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't resist them. Just observe like a witness. Let them come. Now just become aware of the way you're feeling. What are your emotions right now? Again, do not resist any emotions. Just observe, make a note of it. Once again, watch your thoughts, if there are any. Bring your attention back to your body, to the stillness of the body. Let's take a long, deep breath in. And slowly breathe out. Every incoming breath is energizing your body. And every outgoing breath is relaxing you more and more right now. Just be with your breath. Now, whenever you feel complete and comfortable, slowly and very gradually, you may open your eyes. If you wish, you could share, if you feel like typing, what's your state of mind right now? How are you feeling right now? You could share, Sujata. How do you feel?
There goes. But I would encourage people to share your state of mind here.
Calm and collected. Somebody brought up journaling as a practice. Aishwarya, great question. Journaling, very powerful, scientifically proven that when you journal, you release serotonin. And when you journal, you also release stress from your system. Journaling is also like meditation. When you're sitting and writing, when you're journaling, it's just you and your thoughts that you're putting down. You're just completely switched off from everything else. Mindfulness is nothing but just that. Just becoming aware with your consciousness and the now, the present, and not sending your mind out to so many things. Somebody said blissful, beautiful, yes. And Sujata, I just want to point out that this is something we could do. I mean, how much time was that? I think I didn't note the time, but I don't think it was more than how many minutes?
A minute or maybe 90 seconds.
Right.
Or
So
maybe a little more, yeah.
That's how it takes, but it is possible to bring it to a peaceful state. Is this same as pranayama? Not exactly. Pranayama is more about channelizing your prana, which is your life force energy, the breathing. And when you channelize it, when you use certain technique to breathe, certain rhythm to breathe, then that becomes pranayama. But even without doing any higher version of pranayama, whatever, just sitting and bringing your attention again and again back to your breath, because the mind will go away here and there. But you have to lovingly and gently bring it back to your breath, because see, your breath is always in the moment, no matter what. It's always in the present moment. And that's why the breath has the ability to bring you to a place of bliss and calm and peace, all the high vibrational emotional points, right?
Yeah.
So you could
Amrita, one
schedule.
question for you. Does empathy figure in the emotions that you spoke about? And do emotions vary from person to person?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but that's a question. So a question for you.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Emotions will vary from person to person. If you mean like for the same situation in front, and there are two people who are witnessing that situation, are both the people, the vocabulary of their thoughts going to be identical? Copy paste? No. They're going to think differently. But where are these thoughts coming from? Of course, we would spend yet another full-fledged, full-length webinar just talking about that, because there's so many things that contribute to your childhood. We saw 50% is genetic, your childhood experiences, the things that you have put in your belief system over a period of time, your experiences. There's so many things that contribute to that. And that would decide how you emote to something, like at that point of time. Your mindfulness, your mindset is another. Are you a person from a fixed mindset? Then you will see everything is a complaint, and then oh, this can't be changed, that can't be done, and you would live your life like a victim for the rest of your life. But if you're somebody who's a growth mindset person who wants to take responsibility, no matter what's going down, I will be responsible. That person will grow. That person will keep evolving. Or today, people even talk about helping mindset, where you're helping other people. That kind of a mindset. You go beyond just your personal growth. So mindset to mindset, the situation is going to look different. You wear dark colored glasses, whatever the tinting of your glasses, the world will look like that to you. You're wearing pink color glasses, everything is pink. You're wearing blue glasses, everything will look blue. So emotions are like that and they will be different. But what we talked about today, in general, broadly speaking, through the usage of these tools, at least bring your emotions to a level from where you can have a sharper intellect to even take the better of the decisions coming up in front of you, to take a better step to face the adversity, the challenges that are coming up. So just prepare yourself a little better. And you know what, Sujata, I'm going to quickly go back to sharing my screen to
Sure,
just
sure.
wrap up
I think,
before we go
yeah,
into
because I'm also mindful of time now. Yeah,
yes,
sure.
because the question answer. So I always share this, and you know this. I always share this because I
Yes.
just love this. It says that he who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. And in this case, your training is all about your self-care, your daily routine, your daily habits, your daily practice of the little tools that we talked about. Once you do that, then when the adverse situation comes up, then you are better prepared, just like the military of any country, right? They are not going to war every day, but they are kind of better prepared. So before that, Sujata, I thought it was very important
Yeah.
to clarify some common myths about self-care.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah, because most people, a lot of people feel, oh, self-care is selfish. I would say it is the bang opposite of that. It is not selfish, because when you take care of yourself, you empower yourself to take better care of anybody else. The most common example given is the oxygen mask in the flights. If you don't put it on yourself, you can't help anybody else. So please delete that word selfish from your mind when it comes to self-care. It is expensive. Any of the tools we talked about today costs a penny? None of them. It does not cost any money. However, yes, if you want to go on a retreat, if you want to give yourself a holiday, by all means, why not? There you can go and spend money. But it's not necessary to spend money for self-care. Is it time consuming? Yes, perhaps a little bit. But we saw this little nuggets of 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You could just wake up maybe 10 minutes before you usually do to just do a little bit of practice in the morning to raise your vibrational level to become ready for the day. But remember, the return on investment on the time you're spending on self-care is going to be so huge. It is going to help you so much. You're never going to ask this question, is it time consuming? Should be earned. It should not be earned. You deserve it already. Anybody who has one other person to take care of other than themselves, you need self-care. Because unless you have done the self-care, you cannot take care of other people, like we know already from so many examples. Is it only for women? No, not at all. It is not gender. Anybody who has a mind, who has emotions, who's looking for happiness, and that does not come with any gender. It applies to anybody and everybody. Why people ask, is it only for women? Because perhaps women wear way too many hats and they feel the need for self-care a lot more and self-indulgence and pampering their own selves a lot more. Yes, but everybody needs self-care. It's not just for women. So with that, Sujata, I would just wrap up by just pulling up the 5 tools we talked about today: the digital detox, practicing gratitude, know well the relationship between your body and your mind, engage in any act of kindness or serve, and practice mindfulness. With all of this quote that you see on the side is such a favorite of mine. There is no shortcut. It takes time to create a better, stronger version of yourself. And each one of you are a genius. The answer lies only in your daily practice of self-care and using the tools. Nobody can stop you. So that's all I wanted to share, Sujata. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave my contact details on the screen in case we are not able to answer all the questions in the time that is remaining. Please feel free to get in touch with me, and I will be happy to take on more questions to answer them. So over to you, Sujata. Any questions and answers? Let's answer them as much as possible.
Sure. So as always, Amritaa, super. And you leave me with no need to summarize. I will still do it once we finish the questions, answering the questions. I will throw this session open for people to ask questions. There are already a couple which people have asked, but feel free to type in your questions here. And as you're typing it, I would ask Shalini, how much time do we have? If you give me a sense, another 10, 12 minutes, can we go on?
Yeah, I presume another 10 minutes should be okay.
10 minutes. Okay. So please type in your questions in the chat box. I'll pick it up for Amritaa. One of the questions is, Amritaa, what makes the person emotionally intelligent? Is it life experiences or wisdom, or what we pick up from what we hear?
Combination of all of what you just said, Sujata, because see, emotional intelligence has 5 important components. Just touch upon it. Self-awareness. And when you have self-awareness, you have self-regulation. And with both of those, you are motivated. You're able to motivate yourself and other people. You have better empathy. You're able to put yourself in other people's shoes. And then, of course, the most important, you have better social skills. So all these 5 things, the good news is that over a period of time, by becoming conscious, by having an intention of raising your emotional immunity or intelligence, you can do that because the brain has the ability for the neuroplasticity to happen for you to boost your emotional intelligence. So it all lies that, genius is not about genetics alone. It's all about your daily practice. And we see that people who have made major breakthroughs in life, the leaders of the world or the great successful people of the world, if you look at what was common to all of them, where did they get the power from? They first brought the power within them before they could bring it out. So working on yourself, self-care, like I said, is the only answer to attending to your emotions.
You also touched upon it when you covered the inner world versus outer world.
Yes.
So unless you make yourself ready, and how you receive what is happening in the external environment depends a lot on how ready you are to receive it.
Absolutely. If your phone is not charged and you have stepped out of the house and you have to make so many calls, you're on a 10%, 15% charge in your phone, it's going to be tough. So charge it first.
Yeah.
Somebody said epigenetics. Yeah, that's an important, very, very beautiful topic. You're opening up topics for absolutely an entire full-fledged webinar.
Right. So while I wait for more question, a couple that I have noted down. How
Sure.
do we prevent a breakdown? So one is we spoke about being emotionally intelligent, building this emotional immunity, and you also said self-care is not selfishness. So you broke those myths. Very beautiful, because oftentimes we feel, if I think about myself, be it a man or a woman, it's that doesn't matter. The sex doesn't matter. We feel, oh, we're being selfish. So thanks for breaking those myths. But how do I know what is that tipping point? When is it that I'm perhaps going to break down and I need to talk to someone? And when is it it's okay? So any tips on how to figure out what is the breaking point?
Yeah, wonderful question, Sujata. I'm glad you asked it, because it's becoming more and more important, because not necessarily the outer world is going to give me a feedback that, hey, you need help. If you have good friends and family around you, they may tell you. But here are few symptoms that I would point out. If you start feeling on a regular basis, like a chronic thing, feeling hopeless, the hopelessness in everything that's going on around, constantly feeling that there are mood swings, I'm being reactive. But again, like mood swings once in a while, feeling hopeless from time to time, but then recovering from it and feeling hopeful, that's fine. But if you feel that back to back, back to back, back to back, without any break, my mood swings are not leaving me, my hopelessness is not leaving me, particularly very important, if you start feeling like harming your own self, immediately you need to get in touch with somebody, some expert. The moment you feel that you're getting panic attacks, or you're feeling withdrawn from other people, you feel that I can't reach out to anybody, I can't talk to anybody, or I'm all by myself, there's no help. When these feelings coupled with maybe insomnia, anxiety attacks, or panic attacks, if they are repeated, regular, then yes, this is definitely your cue to ask for help. And there is nothing wrong with it. The person who asks for help, is that person weak? I say no. You are the person who is taking responsibility towards your own emotions. So you are a hero in that sense. So go ahead and ask for help. There's nothing to feel bad about it. But it's important, because remember, your emotional health is impacting not just you, your near and dear ones and other people around. So many lives are connected to your emotional health alone. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. See, the other thing people are facing, and there's a question from Aishwarya again, anxiety seems to be one of those common feelings now, she says, and actually staying away from family members. I guess the same applies to workplace. You're all sitting remote, so that there is this anxiety or anxiousness. So how can we help ourselves in these cases? One is being in touch, but any tips on helping ourselves?
Aishwarya, I would again, like a broken record, go back to the tools. And first of all, it's okay to feel anxious. It is understandable. It's totally okay to feel the way you're feeling. Most people are. One, remember, you're not alone. There are tons of other people, and you know that I'm not alone. There are tons of other people along with me, can be a very reassuring thought, a reminder, can be quite reassuring. As pathetic as the situation may be, everybody's good. I'm not alone. And know that there is somebody or the other in your life who has got your back. These two things alone can give you a kind of a strength. I'm not alone, and somebody's watching my back. And whenever you feel, like I said, the onset of that anxiety coming in, and it can just come in, it's not like it requires a visa to come in, it would just arrive like that as a result of back to back. Maybe you got exposed to something, maybe you're tired, maybe the workload is too much, and you're headed in that direction. The key word here is the awareness. So if you can develop an awareness, and I will share another tool which was not on the list, Sujata, but to answer Aishwarya's question, along with keeping a to-do list which helps you manage your day better, have a to-be list.
Nice.
And there could be just one thing. So say anxiety or being anxious is bothering you. Say fear is bothering you. Pick that, because you want to slowly dilute and make it go away. Pick that and put it down in your to-be list. Okay, today, in the first half of the day, come what may, I'm going to check my emotions. I'm not going to allow anxiety to come in. Just a little reminder, just an awareness. And then monitor, just keep looking at the time. Oh, two more hours to go. I've done well now. Just another hour to go. And then at noon or 1 o'clock, I said, yay, I went through, half a day without feeling anxious. Then set yourself another little target. This is just a little trick that has worked very well for me. Whatever emotion you want to take out of yourself and you want to become somebody else, less angry, more calm, more peaceful, put it down in your to-be list because it works as a little reminder and awareness in the mind. That's all.
Sure, super. And now I'm going to sum up. I think if there are questions, you can post it and we'll deal with it. Amritaa can answer it offline. So Amritaa,
you can just take one last question. Sorry, Sujata, if you can just take one last question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
It says we find it difficult to say no. We end up saying yes, mostly pleasing others. How to say no effectively?
Yes. Okay.
Shalini, thank you. That's again yet another, one whole webinar worthy topic. How to say no, an effective way of being firm, but not rude, not putting anybody away. And if you notice that that's one of the components of high emotional intelligence, a better social skill where you can fire somebody without making them feel bad, where you can say no to somebody without making them feel bad. Now, to this, the best answer that comes to my mind is again back to creating your emotional or the energy field vibrating at a higher place. Now, coming from a place where your emotions are vibrating at a higher place, you're coming from compassion. You're not saying no out of irritation or anger. You're saying no out of, it's not possible. Please understand, it's not possible. You're coming from there, but it's not a lip service. We are not talking about the choice of words alone. Yes, it's important, the choice of words, the way you presented it does matter, but understand this is a very deep knowledge. Understand that everything is way more inside of us. There's a layer of building an emotional, shield around yourself. So with that energy field of feeling, coming to say no to something, not out of irritation, low vibration, but from love, from compassion. That's what part of even compassionate leadership. You're coming from that place. When you present yourself to anybody coming from there, the reception, because they're receiving that vibration from you, the reception is going to be so much better. That's the simplest thing that I can come up with this little time that we have here. Build your vibration, then show up. Then whatever you have to say, you may have to say some ugly things to people. Sometimes you can't help it. You have to say those things. But you've come from that vibration. Chances are it's going to be received a lot better because you created a positive energy field around you and you presented through that.
Lovely.
I hope that answers it in whatever way possible in this little time.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you. Sujata, I think we can now sum up and hang.
Yeah. And thanks, Shalini, for bringing that up. So I'll do a quick summary. I'm mindful of time. So Amrita, thank you once again. And I think you beautifully covered a lot of elements. I've made some notes out of what you said so that people can, if they have not penned it down, take this down. So one, emotional immunity is important contributor to well-being. I think you highlighted to resilience very specifically. I think that's very important. It helps us build relationships. What emotional immunity is not, again, once you did touch upon it, which is it is not about resisting or denying these negative thoughts because they are there in the system. They are always bound to be there. So it is our ability to maintain it, regulate it and manage it hence. So that was very beautifully put. I think another important aspect you touched upon, Amrita, is this entire inner world versus outer world. So we cannot influence or control. We perhaps can influence, but cannot control the outer world. Very beautifully, we charge up our battery. You spoke about the stimulus, the thought, the feelings and emotion, and hence the response. I think what you touched upon now, this effective way of saying no, also can go back there. So if you prepare your inner world very well, I think anything that comes onto you, you can handle it well. That was excellent. And another important point, I think it is important to train the mind to think right. So think, create that aura, create that energy. And then even if you say no, it is more impactful and people receive it well. Your toolkits, of course, you've put out a slide, but digital detox, gratitude practice, understanding the relationship between mind and body, Seva or service you touched upon, very nice, and practicing mindfulness. You also touched upon two more things, Amrita, which is the to-be list and maintaining a journal. I think that's a lot of tools, but what I take away from this and for all of us is practice is important. So even if we do one of the 7 to begin with from tomorrow and do it every day, I think that will give us a lot of benefit. Lovely that you broke the myths, Amrita. I think very important, because oftentimes we mistake self-care as being selfish. And you also said it's not only for women, it is for all of us. So in today's day and age, I think we do a lot around only women. There is a reason for it, but this is for men also. So thank you, Amrita, once again. Be it choice of our thoughts, channelizing our energy, the power of our inside world, and I think unconditional happiness. And that toolkit was the icing on the cake. You've opened us to an entire new world of opportunities when it comes to upping our, if I can call it, emotional quotient. So taking away, even if we do 1%, I think we will be better place for ourselves. Thank you once again. And I hand it back to Shalini with this. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay, I'm not going to take too much time, but Amrita and Sujata, thank you so much to the two of you for kind of, taking us through this entire journey of emotional immunity. And I think we're getting some very good comments in the chat group, and I'm sure, people will reach out for help. The need of the hour is this clearly. So thank you very much to both of you for bringing this together. Madhav, back to you and Jomon here.
Thank you, Shalini, and what a wonderful session. Self-care, gratitude, mindfulness, giving, seva. I mean, as you rightly said in the beginning, you pulled out nothing out of the hat. It was all there. Just that reminder call that we are forgetting all these things, forgetting to take care of ourselves and the blessings that we possess. One more reminder call that we have just one life, and we need to be thankful for all those blessings, and there is no point in getting worked up and getting so worried about many things which are beyond our control. In fact, when I wrote that I lost count of my blessings, I meant it. It was like I never imagined that I had so many of them. When you started asking me to count, I just counted with my fingers as usual in the norm 0, and then I lost count of that. And it was like watching a beautiful session of batting in cricket by two batsmen like Dravid and Lakshman, together. Complimenting each other, both of you, Amrita and Sujata, you complimented so well and ensured that the right points and the right takeaways were highlighted and drove straight into the minds of all of us present here. It was indeed a wonderful session, and going by the comments, as Shalini was rightly saying, you can see that all of them were so involved and enthused about what you said and what you demonstrated here. And I'm sure they'll get back to you very soon for more comments and advices from you. And thank you once again for being here. Definitely our Honorary Secretary will propose a formal vote of thanks. But before that, let me just make a couple of announcements that the next week we have a very important annual event coming of the KMA calendar, which is a Professor K.T. Chandy Memorial Lecture, commemorating the proud memories of this doyen of management education and administration, and also the founder director of IIM Calcutta. We have a very distinguished speaker delivering the memorial lecture, Mr. R.R. Nair, who is a renowned coach for many CXOs and CEOs from diverse industrial sectors, both Indian and multinational companies. He's addressing us on a very contemporary topic, again, can-do spirit in challenging times. I mean, adding on to what Amrita and Sujata were doing here, the topic is can-do spirit in challenging times. We'll have our own senior past president, Mr. A.K. Nair, remembering the association with Professor K.T. Chandy. And this event is going to be on 15th of June at 6 p.m. Another event which is coming up in the week starting 21st June is the Msme Summit, the inaugural event of our KMA MSME Forum, with the 3 leaders explaining the current situations relevant to MSME segment, exclusively for them, with regard to central and state policies and the banking offerings. We have Mr. Uday Kumar, Director, Marketing of National Small Industries Corporation, to speak on central government schemes. Mr. Biju P. Abraham, General Manager of District Industry Center of Cochin, speaking on the state government schemes for MSMEs, and Mr. Adi Keshavan, the Chief General Manager of SBI, talking about for our new Industries Minister, Sri P. Rajiv, to be present for this event. And we are awaiting his confirmation on the date, as he is now recovering after a COVID attack just last week. That will be in the week starting 21st of June. So that's it from KMA as far as events are concerned. Now over to our Honorary Secretary, Chartered Accountant Jomon George, to propose or offer the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Jomon.
Respected President Madhav Chandran, the Women Managers Forum Chair, Madam Shalini Warrior, and the wonderful duo, as I may say, well synchronized, Sujata and Amritaa, who gave us 1.5 hours of great learnings, great insights in boosting emotional immunity. A lot of things which I wanted to say has been stolen by Sujata and Madhav. So my job is fairly easy, just to say big thank you and sign off. But still, it is really, I was glued. I joined a little late, but glued throughout, and proof that 180 of our participants stayed throughout, asked relevant questions, as proof that the session has been beyond expectations. A lot of fresh insights and inputs, relations, resilience in adversity, self-care, digital detox, and the exercise that you put us through, and being grateful. So reiterated the real fact that it's not the happy people who are thankful, but it's the thankful people who are really happy. Thank you so much for reiterating and recalling that. And gratitude is, of course, a real catalyst for happiness, and the inputs today has been really nice for every one of us, male, female, students, CEOs, all of us were there. We had a wonderful mix of cross-section of wonderful audience today. And the way you gelled each other, and it was really nice, and it was like, it sounded like a practice session, though it all came extempore. So nice of you. And it's evident from the way you're presenting yourself, Amritaa, that you really practice what you preach. That's very, very important. You know, what you do on screen with an audience, it's all evident from the way you rendered yourself. And let me start from President, of course, he does everything. And then Shalini ma'am, we belong to the same tribe, we always say, both of us chartered accountants, and she has the best pick every time. I think this, in the series of events that the Women Managers Forum had, this is one of the best, doubtlessly, and great show. And thank you so much, ma'am, for bringing these two of them so well, one from one life coach and one sales lead, and how so well they Sujata wonderfully coordinated so very well, picked up the right questions, and in between you became a speaker yourself. That is also really nice. That also is really nice. And Sujata, no words and we would expect more from you at KMA. I'm sure that you've shared your contacts. So a lot of free advice would be sought. So I don't think, I hope you'll have the time, and our members would be really enriched by that. So thank you so much once again, every one of you, to the Secretariat, Jojo, Prajit, Patmar, everyone there, to our sponsors, Hale, Sarah, and Medivision, and to every one of you there, for the entire wonderful audience you have been throughout, of course, online, virtual, but post-COVID. I'm sure we were last week we were discussing about annual convention. So I'm sure that Mother would have some idea on getting you back on stage physically here when you have a gathering of close to 2,000 management experts and members of KMA. I'm sure that I would surely endorse if he has a feeling of that. So we're quite justified. So before I conclude, we have the practice of giving a memento for a physical meetings, but this year around for the online meetings, we would now display a memento which would come your way soon, physically delivered. Before that, this is just on the screen for you. And where is the one for Sujata, Prajit?
Both are there. Both are there. Both are there. You can see?
Yeah,
okay,
both.
Okay.
Both of them are there. Both of them are there.
My window is blocking. Extremely sorry.
This will come to you by courier.
Both in action, both in command. So they'll soon come your way. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. So COVID is not gone. Let's stay safe. But from lessons learned today, let us stay focused, determined that this too shall pass, and the sun will shine again. God bless everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jomon, and thank you once again, Amritaa and Sujata, and thank you, Shalini, for this wonderful session being put together.
Thank you, everybody,
and
for your time.
As Jomon rightly said, we'll come back to you to get you here physically for that Kerala trip, which you have been looking forward to, maybe to address a larger audience of KMA in real time, in physical presence. Till then, stay safe and all the very best to all of you.